Hello guys, I hope you're all doing alright and enjoy today's video, which is on a budget watch. I think budget watches are incredibly important to the watch community because not everyone wants to always spend lots and lots of money on a timepiece. And the wonderful thing about the watch community is some people have watches that are £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 plus, and they also treasure in their collections watches which are about $100 or £100. Depends where you're from. Now, where does today's watch fit in? Now, this is for people that generally would like a watch which covers most bases in their life. They want something that's light and comfortable, and it's not going to break the bank, but it's got to have a little bit of something interesting about it. Does this watch today, which is this, the Boderry Sea Turtle Ocean, strange name I know, but it's got some interesting things to it. That's the most important thing in this market, especially in the budget market. It's quite tricky to have anything that's a unique selling point. But this watch has a number of them, and it's only $139. Let's get down to some more details and then you'll be the judge of that, but I'll help you along the way. So first of all, here are some stats and specs. So let's fly through the likes and dislikes of this so you are aware of what, if you were to buy one of these, to expect. I know each watch could be slightly different, and that's what you're possibly going to get with these value watches, is you're going to get deviations in quality control. So let's start with the few things I did actually notice when I first got this watch, which were quite not up to scratch when it came to build quality. First thing is going to be the bezel. One of the first things to do when I unbox a watch and check it out is bezel action. This had an extremely uneven and gritty and quite stiff bezel action. So I had to really clean this by running under hot water with fairy liquid, squirting some silicone lube in there and doing about 50 million turns. And now it's perfectly fine. No gritty bits, it doesn't get caught anywhere. It's just very light now. It's gone from being quite stiff and notchy to actually perfect feel, but very light. If you don't want to tinker with your watch at all, that would be an immediate disappointment. Second thing that was disappointment was, again, the grittiness didn't just end with the bezel action, it was actually a problem with the crown. I again fixed this by giving it just a gentle squirt with some of the WD-40, the silicone variant. Don't use regular WD-40, you need to use a silicone lubricant. That just helped clean any tiny bits of swarf or bits of bad machining in there that stopped this winding in smoothly was causing a problem. And again, it doesn't even end there, because there are very, very small specks of dust under the crystal here, which is a bit of a disappointment. Then another strange thing I noticed was what's going on with the stitching on the end of this strap. It stops. It doesn't go all the way. I don't know if that's a design feature or not, but I don't think it is. I think they just forgot to finish it. And then, even though on the positives I'm going to say the price is obviously very good for, I believe you get a good specification, I think they could have made this even better price if they didn't have so much packaging. I can't be bothered to show it to you, but there was way too much packaging. A fancy watch box and another box and then another box and then loads of wrapping and then another box, and the box itself, it all came in, was bigger than a shoebox, and I'm talking size 12 shoebox. So it is very much overkill for what I think is a bargain watch. I think they went too far with that. Then when it comes to just things that are based on my opinion that I don't like while we're at it, this caseback design is very messy. I can't work out what's going on with this sea turtle. I don't know if it's been beached and it's dying, or it's trapped in some coral and it's having a slow, painful death. I just feel a bit distressed looking at that for a number of reasons. First of all, is it a dying sea turtle? Or secondly, I can't work out what it is and it just hurts my eyes. So that's just a problem. I don't like that. It's just a mess. And then when it comes to a dive style watch, which this is, it's only got 100 meters water resist, which it says on the dial, and it comes on a leather strap, which is not good for water resistance. So why didn't they put it on a decent rubber? The leather though is very good, but I'll talk to you a bit more about that later. But what I'm also going to talk about is ditch the leather and then put it on one of these straps. These are straps that I sell in my store. this is just a very small selection, what I think can work on this, because this is a bit of a strap monster because of that black dial. And again, this strap has no taper on it, so if I wanted to take this hardware off, which is titanium, and that is good that they've matched it to the case, which is titanium, of course, you generally get about a 2mm taper on a lot of straps. And while I'm here on the moans and niggles, which I seem to be going with the flow here, is there's two more things, maybe three. And that is, first of all, these hands. They are very nice. I like that they've got Omega style on a Submariner style watch. Bit of a hybrid blend there, and I think they work quite well, but they don't always stand out very well against the dial. And all you can see here, just especially under this light, is the sort of loomed element, and they look quite small. So I think the hands could be a bit more robust and larger. And the other thing I, opinion-wise, think about these hands, why don't they have brushed hands to match the whole brushed effect of everything else, sort of the satin finish? Then you've suddenly got polished hands. Bit of a weird contrast, and again, it doesn't help the hands contrast against the dial very well. Loom on this watch is good and also bad. It's quite good for the money. It's BGW9 sort of blue colour. This shell pattern you get on the dial is actually loomed, but it's so poor it lasts all of a few seconds. So I think it's a wasted effort and a missed opportunity. I know it's a quirky thing to have on a budget watch, but it just isn't very good. I'm very disappointed. I'll show you now. So quick charge of some loom. You can see it glowing there. It glows quite nicely very quickly on the immediate blast of UV, as you can see, but that lasts very poorly. You can see in the loom time lapse it just doesn't last. But for this bit of the shot I'm showing you now, it looks really cool. It's a very nice, interesting feature, but it looks more like a beehive than it does back of a sea turtle, so it's a bit weird. So yeah, there's a lot of moans and niggles there, I think. I need to move on to a few positives, I think. But before I do that, I've got one more big one more moan, and that is actually something to do with the fact that on their website, they're talking about, it's called the Sea Turtle Ocean because they want us to be aware of how important it is to protect the ocean and sea turtles, but that's it. There's nothing about this watch which is actually helping save the ocean. You can't really wear it much in the ocean due to its fairly limited water resistance compared to a proper dive style watch. The fact it's got a leather strap, you can't really wear it in the ocean, and this is made of a dead animal. You're not really helping land animals, are you? And then sea turtles are maybe going to appreciate you not dumping so much plastic in the ocean. So why don't they incorporate some form of plastic into the watch, out, you know, from recycled materials, just to say we've taken a bit out of the ocean and made it into something for this watch to show our dedication to protecting sea animals, marine life, etc. Gosh, I've talked a lot about negatives on this watch, but believe it or not, there's a lot of positives. Titanium, hypoallergenic. People are often allergic to steel. Not often. Some people are allergic to steel, so titanium is a good option for you so you don't get an allergic reaction. It's extremely light, as you can see from the stats and specs. This weighs very little for a metal sports watch. Even less, of course, because it's only on a leather strap rather than a metal one. That adds to its comfort. It's got the generic but very popular style of case that you would often see on many Swiss watches, rhyming with Rolex. That is a very good design, and it's very popular for a reason because it wears extremely well. It's got excellent proportions. I like the styling. I like the fact it isn't just a cut and paste of a Rolex style watch or anything like that. It's got a hybrid blend of different elements with lots of little quirky twists. As I said, the hands are different to what you'd expect on that style of watch. And then these indices are actually, if you look really close, which is quite tricky on this camera sometimes, you get the indices actually have lots of tiny little edges on them. They're not perfectly round. And the same with the tip of the lollipop on the seconds hand. That's a slightly quirky shape as well. So there's lots of subtle details with angular changes on this watch, which just adds a bit of interest and quirkiness, which I do like. The price is the biggest thing, 139 US dollars, not much more than £100. I think the build quality and the material specification, as I said in the stats, they could have made it even better, like I said, in the moans and niggles, that it could have been less packaging and they could have done this for $100 maybe. And I actually don't mind the fact they've used a Miyota in this watch. I know it's generally something I would complain about in the past because of that rotor wobble, and it's keeping okay time. It's not the best Miyota I've seen. I've tried it in 4 different positions and it's a little bit squiffy here and there. Sometimes it's plus 25, then it's plus 6 to 8 seconds, plus 14. So let's solve one of the problems at least with this leather strap, and I'm going to quickly just show you how nice this can look by putting on one of the straps I sell in my store. Bit of self-promotion here, I do have a strap business. So this is the Pioneer strap, lots of colours available. I sell this in 20 and 22mm lug widths. I've gone for this one to recommend to you because it's got this interesting pattern, and as we've got lots of different angles and shapes on this watch, it's quite fun to have something that complements it. Works a treat. I know it's brushed hardware does help work with the brushed finishing on the watch. Forgot to mention actually, the brushing on this case is actually very good. So I apologise for not putting that in earlier. It really works with this watch. This is the Retro Tropic. It's a Tropic style with a very strong taper, and it's got these rally style holes in it. Amazing for breathability, great for really hot days. And if you want to get this wet, you don't get any clammy wrists or anything like that. And the brush hardware is going to go with the brush case as well. So I think that's another winner. And this is the Icon. This is the Tropic, again with the FKM rubber, quick release pins. And I chose red just to do a really good contrast against the black. Black and red work so well together. And because this is a rubber strap, it's going to really make this very good for hot weather and holidays. And it's just nice to have a bit of fun colour here and there. And lastly, it had to go on the tasty waffle. You've got this waffle texture on here, very popular on Seikos, but works on many other watches as well, because we've got that chunky aesthetic that goes with the chunky elements of the watch. And again, I just think that's why this watch is a strap monster, because it works on all these 4 different straps very well. So in summary, for your $140-ish, are you going to be happy with this watch? I think personally, yes you would be, because that's not a huge amount of money. We're comparing it to homages. This is kind of an homage, but very loosely. I mean, it's got obviously cut and paste bits from different watches. It's a bit of a hybrid. It's trying a bit harder than that, and that's why I think it's a bit more special, especially for the price point. You could spend $140 and get a watch which is just got no thought gone into it at all. It's just a really well made watch with bits thrown together with no design flair at all. This is no Picasso, it's not really going out there, but it's got something different. It's just fun to have something different and still be good value. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and if you want to see more, I've made loads of videos. Check out some more. I'll point in like that because hopefully some videos have popped up there. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.